Righto, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to another episode. So this episode we are working on the old Patrol. So this old girl is a 4.2 litre petrol EFI, so the TB42E, originally on gas, and it ain't running too good on the gas. So I've ripped the tank out, but all the old gas stuff's still in there. Now what I'm replacing it with is another fuel tank. So I'll have two petrol fuel tanks, so I've got a bit more distance in the old girl. So yeah, I picked up a original tank for the back, so it's a 90 litre fuel tank. It's a bit of rust in it, so I'm gonna have to spend a bit of time restoring that, get it up to scratch, and then yeah, I've got a few other bits and pieces to make the dual fuel tank system work with the switching and fuel gauges and all that sort of drama. But yeah, let's just get stuck into it. And yeah, remember, if you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more content. And yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. Right, so here's the original tank. So it's in not too bad condition. It's just been sitting around for a while. So I have had it taped up, but you know, I'm gonna obviously have to clean this a fair bit. So what I'm gonna do is just strip it, take it outside, give it a bit of a wash, and then I'll assess inside, make sure there's no rust, and then yeah, we'll go from there. So first thing, let's clean her up. So I gave her a bit of a scrub. She's all relatively clean, so I'll have to clean it again after I deal with the little bit of rust that's on the inside of the tank. So a lot of it actually just come off with the sponge, so that was pretty good, but there's a little bit in there that I'll have to treat. So I'll get a bit of rust converter, and then I think the inside of fuel tanks have got like this special coating inside them, so I have to get some of that to swash around in there just so it doesn't happen any further. I guess when the fuel's in there, I don't think it'll rust with the fuel, but anyway, got to do it properly, I guess. So what I'll do now is I'll just get it with a little bit of Scotch-Brite or just an abrasive sponge just to rub back that bit of rust that's inside there, and then I'll treat it, let it sit overnight, and then come back to it. So yeah, so there we go. So what I've got, just got a bit of a rough edge on the sponge, got a wire brush, gloves, and with this rust converter. So what I'll do first is I'll scrub it back with these two, get as much of the loose rust off as I can. I might even see if I can just hit it with a little bit of sandpaper. Then I'll clean it off, wipe it down. I've got a bit of brake cleaner and some other sort of degreasers and stuff and methylated spirits. So make sure it's all clean before I hit it with the rust converter. Then we hit it with this rust converter, let it sit for, I think it's 15 minutes or half an hour. And then you wipe it back, clean it off, and then just keep going really until you've got rid of all the rust. So yeah, we'll hit it with all this, and hopefully it works and I don't have to do anything extravagant with this tank because I'm trying to do this on a little bit of a budget. So yeah, let's get into it. See how this goes. Right, so what I've done is I just filled up the little pickup spot with the rust converter, and I'll just dab the cloth in there, work from the back end to the front, and yeah, hopefully that works out. So it just sits in that little tray, works out alright. I think I've done the best I can with these sort of products. So it's got rid of probably, I'm not saying about 95% of the stuff of the rust. So there's just a few little bits that are just a little bit more pitted. So it hasn't really got out those bits. So I don't want to go to all this effort and know in the back of my mind that I've left those in there. So what I'm actually going to do is buy one of those fuel tank sealer kits. So I'll use that to get the rest of all these little bits out, and then it actually comes with the rust remover and the sealer kit itself, which actually fills in any little pitted areas, and it also fills, if there is any pinholes in the tank, it'll fill those as well. So I'm actually gonna get one of those kits. Unfortunately, you can't buy it from any shops nearby me, so I'm gonna have to order it online. So that'll be here in a week or so. And yeah, then I'll get back into this. So I'll close all this up and be back at it once I get that kit. So there we go. So I've managed to pick up a KBS tank sealer kit. So it comes with the cleaner, the rust blast stuff, and obviously the sealer itself. So what I'd done first was I cleaned the outside of the tank, hit it with a wire brush, and I sealed it with a rust prohibitor. I didn't want to do any of this outside grinding and, you know, hitting it with the wire wheel after I finished the inside, because I didn't want any of that stuff getting in the tank after I've sealed it. So I've done all that stuff first, and now we're just going to hit it with this cleaner, then the rust blast, and then finally we'll coat it with the sealer. So the idea with this stuff is you pretty much mix it as per the ratio, depending on how rusted out it is inside, how bad it is. So I'm just going to do probably, it's not that bad in there, so I might even be able to get away with like a 1:5 ratio. Mix it with like hot water you do. And yeah, then the rust blast, you pretty much throw that whole bottle in there and coat the whole thing out, clear it out, make sure it's all nice and clean before you finally hit it with the sealant. So yeah, let's have a crack. Right, so I'm gonna say that was the easy bit done. Took a bit longer than I thought. Had to rinse it out twice with that cleaner. And then I gave it a bit of a sort of a rub with a rag in there just to sort of wipe up any surface rust that sort of accumulated over the week when I wasn't actually doing anything on it. Then hit it with that rust off stuff, which actually did pretty good, I thought. It's actually pretty much pulled all the rust out completely. And now, got to do the sealer. So I hope this works out easier than I think it is, but yeah, we're just gonna pour it in and then just sort of maneuver it around just so it gets over all the surfaces of the tank. Now in this tank, there is this plastic breather. I don't even know what it is. It's like the breather line goes into this little plastic box thing up there. So this stuff's not supposed to be used on plastic, so I'm hoping I can just sort of maneuver it so it runs past underneath it, but I don't know, so there we go. But yeah, just gonna give it a crack, and yeah, wish me luck. Alright, so I definitely underestimated how much mess that was going to make, but I think we got there in the end. Hard bit is trying to get the leftover stuff out of the hole where the sender is, because it's got like a sort of a, I don't know, a lipped shape, so it doesn't want to pour out, so it just makes an absolute disaster trying to get it out onto something, but got there in the end. It's all lined all the way around. There is a bit that I couldn't get out, so I didn't want it all to pull on the bottom part of the tank because I wanted to make sure that the ribs are still left open. So I'll leave it like this overnight so it fills up the seam where the weld is all on the inside. And yeah, that should be it. And then tomorrow I can just paint the outside, and yeah, we can start setting up the tank to go back in the car. So touch back in tomorrow. Righto, so I'm back in the shed. So it's dried overnight. I had a bit left over, so I did the top of the tank. Surprisingly, I thought it was like a thin layer, but it still actually ran a fair bit. So that's one thing I learned about this product. It seems like you might not have enough, but it definitely covers heaps. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scuff back a bit, and I'm going to actually just hit it with a bit of Raptor coating. So this is heavy duty textured finish. It's for the undercoating of all cars. So I think it's like every other Raptor coating, but anyway, I've never used it before, so I'm gonna prep the surface. I'm gonna do a test on something else that has this paint on it, just to make sure it sticks on the top side. But mainly for the bottom, I really want to hit it with this stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. Righto, so it's probably where I'm going to have to leave it for this episode, but the tank is done. All that's left is to bolt in the new sender and fuel pump, and then she's ready to be plumbed in on the car. So if you haven't already, remember to smash the like and subscribe buttons so you don't miss out on the next episode, because I'm going to be wiring everything up, running new lines, and working out how to actually fit this pilot valve. So this is the 6-port valve, which will switch the fuels in between each tank back to the car. So that'll be fun. So I hope you enjoyed that episode, and until then, keep having a crack. See you in the next one. Cheers.